Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Paul, and today we are going to talk about a topic that is extremely important for beginners who want to learn English and improve their speaking skills, especially when it comes to talking about themselves in a clear, simple, and confident way during real-life conversations.
Hello everyone, I'm Lena. Yes, Paul, this is something many learners struggle with. Even if they understand English, when someone asks them to introduce themselves or talk about their life, they suddenly feel nervous, confused, and unsure about what to say.
That's very true. I have seen many people who know basic English words, but when they have to speak, they hesitate or stay silent.
Exactly, and the main reason is that they don't have a clear structure in their mind. They don't know what to say first, what to say next, and how to continue the conversation smoothly.
So the problem is not just language, but also structure.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we are going to solve in this video. We will break everything into simple steps so that beginners can easily understand and start speaking without fear.
That sounds very helpful.
Yes, and one important thing learners should remember is that they don't need perfect English to talk about themselves. Even simple sentences are enough if they are clear and confident.
That removes a lot of pressure.
Exactly. When you stop worrying about perfection, you start focusing on communication. And that is the real goal of learning any language.
Many beginners also feel shy while speaking.
Yes, but that's completely normal. Everyone feels shy in the beginning. The key is to practice regularly and slowly build confidence.
So practice and confidence go together.
Absolutely. The more you practice, the more comfortable you become.
So by the end of this video, learners will know how to introduce themselves step by step.
Yes, they will be able to talk about themselves in a simple, natural, and confident way.
Great, let's move to the first step. Lena, let's begin with the most basic step. When someone wants to talk about themselves, what should they say first?
The first and most important step is to tell your name, because this is how every introduction starts. It helps the other person know who you are and makes the conversation more personal and friendly.
So it's like the starting point of communication.
Exactly. And the good thing is that this step is very simple. Beginners don't need to use complicated sentences. They can use short and clear sentences.
What are some examples?
They can say, "My name is John. I am Alex." Both are correct and commonly used.
That's very easy to remember.
Yes, and beginners should focus on speaking clearly. Even a simple sentence sounds good when spoken with confidence.
What about tone and expression?
That's very important. Learners should speak slowly and clearly. Use a friendly tone. Smile slightly while speaking. This makes their introduction more natural and confident.
Many learners feel shy even while saying their name.
Yes, that happens often, but they should practice saying their name aloud again and again, maybe in front of a mirror. This helps reduce hesitation.
That's a useful tip.
Another helpful idea is to add a small extra sentence after your name to continue the conversation. For example, "My name is John and I am learning English. I am Alex and I am new here."
That makes the introduction more complete.
Exactly. It shows confidence and helps the conversation move forward naturally.
So even this simple step can be improved with practice.
Yes, and once learners feel comfortable introducing their name, they will feel more confident to continue speaking.
Lena, after telling your name, what is the next step beginners should take when they talk about themselves?
The next step is to talk about where you are from, because this is one of the most common and important parts of any introduction. It helps the other person understand your background and creates a connection in the conversation.
So it adds more information about the person.
Yes, exactly. When you share where you are from, it makes your introduction more complete and meaningful. It also gives the other person something to respond to, which helps continue the conversation.
What are some simple sentences beginners can use?
Beginners can use very simple sentences like, "I am from New York. I come from the USA. I live in London." These sentences are easy to remember and very useful in real-life conversations.
That sounds very simple.
Yes, and learners should not try to use complicated sentences here. Simple English is always better, especially in the beginning.
Can they add more details?
Yes, of course. Once they feel comfortable, they can add small details to make their introduction more interesting. For example, "I am from New York, and it is a very busy city. I live in London, and I really like this place because it is beautiful."
That makes the conversation more engaging.
Exactly. Adding small details shows confidence and helps you speak more naturally.
Many beginners are afraid of making mistakes.
Yes, but they should remember that the goal is to communicate, not to be perfect. Even if the sentence is simple, it is enough.
That's very encouraging.
Yes, and another tip is to speak slowly and clearly. When you speak slowly, you have more time to think and form sentences.
That reduces pressure.
Absolutely. Also, learners should practice these sentences daily so that they become comfortable speaking about their location.
So repetition helps.
Yes, repetition builds confidence and fluency over time.
Lena, after talking about where you are from, what should beginners talk about next?
After that, beginners can talk about their work or studies because this is another very common topic in introductions. It helps people understand what you do in your daily life.
So it gives more personal information.
Yes, exactly. When you talk about your work or studies, it makes your introduction more informative and complete.
What are some simple examples?
Beginners can say, I am a student. I work in an office. I am a teacher. I study at a university. These sentences are clear and easy to use.
That seems simple enough.
Yes, and once learners feel comfortable, they can add more details. For example, I am a student and I am studying computer science. I work in a company as an assistant.
That makes the introduction more interesting.
Exactly. Adding a little extra information shows confidence and helps you speak longer sentences.
Many learners worry about grammar while speaking.
They should not worry too much. In the beginning, simple and clear sentences are enough. Over time, grammar will improve naturally with practice.
So focus on communication first.
Yes, absolutely. Another important tip is to practice talking about your work or studies daily. Since it is part of your daily life, it becomes easier to talk about.
That makes learning easier.
Yes, and when you talk about familiar topics, you feel more confident and comfortable.
So this step also helps in building confidence.
Exactly. Talking about your work or studies is one of the easiest and most effective ways to practice English speaking.
Lena, after talking about name, place, and work or studies, how can beginners make their introduction more interesting and engaging so that the other person enjoys the conversation?
That's a great question, Paul. One of the best ways to make your introduction more interesting is to talk about your hobbies and interests, because this shows your personality and gives the other person a better idea about what you like to do in your free time.
So hobbies make the conversation more personal.
Yes, exactly. When you talk about your hobbies, the conversation becomes more natural and friendly. It also creates more chances to continue the conversation because the other person may share similar interests.
What are some simple sentences beginners can use?
Beginners can start with very simple sentences like, I like reading books. I enjoy playing games. I love listening to music. I like watching movies. These sentences are easy to learn and very useful in daily conversations.
That sounds simple and practical.
Yes, and learners should not try to use complex vocabulary here. Simple sentences are enough to express your interest clearly.
Can they add more details to these sentences?
Yes, definitely. Adding small details can make your introduction more interesting. For example, I like reading books, especially storybooks. I enjoy playing games in my free time because it relaxes me.
That makes the conversation longer and more engaging.
Exactly. It helps you speak more and makes your English sound more natural.
What if someone feels they don't have many hobbies?
That's completely okay. Even simple activities count as hobbies. You can talk about things like watching TV, listening to songs, or spending time with friends.
So hobbies don't have to be special.
Yes, the goal is to practice speaking, not to impress anyone.
Many beginners feel more comfortable talking about things they like.
Absolutely. Because you already know what you enjoy, so it becomes easier to speak about it. This helps build confidence naturally.
Lena, what is the next step after hobbies that beginners can include in their introduction?
The next step is to talk about your likes and dislikes, because this helps people understand your preferences and personality in a deeper way.
So it adds more personal information.
Yes, exactly. When you share what you like and don't like, it makes your introduction more real and relatable.
What are some simple examples?
Beginners can use sentences like, I like coffee. I like traveling. I don't like spicy food. I don't like waking up early. These are very simple and commonly used sentences.
That's very easy to understand.
Yes, and learners can also explain their reasons to make the conversation more meaningful. For example, I like coffee because it makes me feel fresh. I don't like spicy food because it is too strong for me.
That makes the conversation more detailed.
Exactly. Adding reasons helps you speak longer sentences and express your thoughts clearly.
Many beginners are afraid of making mistakes while forming sentences.
They should not worry about that. The focus should always be on communication. Even simple and small sentences are perfectly fine.
So simplicity is the key.
Yes, absolutely. Another important tip is to practice these sentences daily. Talking about likes and dislikes is very common in everyday conversations.
That helps in real-life situations.
Yes, and learners should speak honestly about their preferences. When you talk about real things, your speaking becomes more natural and confident.
That's very helpful.
Yes, and with regular practice, learners will find it easier to talk about themselves without hesitations.
Lena, many beginners feel nervous while speaking English. What should they do?
They should keep it simple and not worry about mistakes. Simple sentences are enough.
So they don't need perfect English?
Exactly. Focus on communication, not perfection.
How can they build confidence?
Practice daily, speak slowly, and repeat simple sentences.
That sounds easy.
Yes, with regular practice, confidence will improve.
Any final advice for beginners?
Yes, practice daily, stay patient, and believe in yourself.
So consistency is important.
Absolutely. Even small daily practice makes a big difference.
That's very helpful.
Yes, keep learning and don't give up.
Thank you everyone for watching.
Keep practicing.
See you next time.